First meeting 2018, Happy New Year. Get right into it. So the first thing you should have are our minutes from the December 18th meeting. If any available, actually, I should have a chance to review them. I'd like a motion to accept them as presented.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Next thing is the bills. Again, they were in the box for you to peruse. We've only got about 2.5 pages, no, 2 pages of them. So, get a motion to approve the bill. By the way, any additions or deletions? Okay, so a motion to approve the bills as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as amended.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk, we have correspondence for
We do, from the Rouses Point 4th of July Committee, Mayor Letourneau and Village Trustees. The committee has begun making plans for this year's celebration. American Legion Post 912 will again sponsor this event for us. The celebration will start on Friday, 29 June at noon and run through Sunday, 1 July, concluding with fireworks at dusk. We are asking permission to use Rouses Point Civic Center grounds and stage for our concerts, Kids' Day events, vendors, rides, bouncy house, and food vendors similar to past 4th of July weekends. The committee is asking for permission to have a beer garden should a local business step forward to operate this type of program. That business will be responsible for their off-premise license, insurance, double fencing, checking IDs, and all signage and anything else that will ensure that the alcoholic beverage they sell will be handled in the best way possible. Our events will include a 5K run, chicken barbecue, kids' day, concerts, vendors, and rides for the kids. The weekend will conclude on Sunday, July 1st, with the street parade at 6 p.m. and the fireworks display at dusk. This will be our 58th year celebration, and we look forward to another successful weekend in Rouses Point. Thank you, Karen Gilroy, Chairman, 4th of July Committee.
Okay, I'd like to have a motion to give permission for the Legion for the 4th of July Committee to utilize the facilities they've asked for.
I make a motion that we allow the 4th of July committee to use its facility.
Second.
Okay, discussion. If you have any questions, I see we have, wow, the brave chairman here. You guys have any questions about this? I'm sure Mr. Gilroy could answer them.
Just like to thank him for all his work that he
Yeah,
does.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, for punishment. Thank you for doing it. We appreciate it. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion's carried. And good luck, Mr. Gilroy. Sure it'll be great.
Does he have anything for us to, or do you want to wait for that?
What's that?
Does he have anything for us?
No.
Any questions or anything?
No.
I'll let it very much answer.
Okay.
You know they're good. Okay. So, as I mentioned, we were going to have a meeting with the Development Corporation. We had that on 12/21/17. The administrator and I had met with them to review what their plans are for continuing to work with Pfizer to market the facility once it's completely shut down, which should be the first part of this year. They have, quite an extensive array of plans. They have a conceptual master plan. It involves about 22 buildings. And they're anticipating some of the buildings, a couple of buildings from Pfizer will be left standing. We don't have any confirmation that they are going to take most of them down, but they took the newest buildings down already, and probably they will be, but we don't know that for sure. The Development Corporation has a 20-year plan. They feel like they're confident because of our location near the border. We have easy access to rail from there, our electric rates, and certainly we're going to have room to build if they do in fact remove those buildings. We could have a number of different industries available there rather than just sticking with one. It could be tied in with the transportation industries that are in Plattsburgh. there's any number of possibilities that it could be, or could be something perhaps unique to hear that they need it. So, again, they're working with Pfizer's corporate offices. We've sent a letter to them, signed that today, letting them know we met with the Development Corporation, that we have confidence in that agency, and we're looking forward to, you know, working hand in hand with Pfizer to continue to make use of this great opportunity. So it's pretty positive, and I think, Steve, is there anything else you think that they said or I missed, or?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, so that's where we are, and they're certainly available if we want to talk to you. They're going to keep us up to speed, but they hear, as you know, the managing director up there is on their board, so they know what and where things are going. So again, the plan hasn't changed. They stopped in October manufacturing, and they're going to do the decommissioning starting shortly. They're already in the process of doing that. Okay, so that's my report on that meeting. Now we have some bids for the chlorine skid units that have been received. We received 2 bids. One for $23,400, one for $14,800. We asked our consultant at AES Northeast which vendor she thought would be better for us. Now, although $9,000 sounds like a big difference, the issue is design, maintenance, follow-up, technical assistance. The pumps that are made by Cyclops are diaphragm style, and they're pretty much, they're not able to turn up and turn down easily. The CPEX pump, which are made by Emmerich, have a greater pressure rating and turn up and turn down range. We don't really know what the pump rate needs to be because we don't have good information on the flow. So this flexibility, she feels, would serve us better as we go through the changes with Pfizer using less water and our seasonal flow variations. Speaking to the project manager, Mr. Pelkey, and I have talked to the chief water treatment plant operator. They both felt like Emmerich, although more expensive, would be a good advantage. Also, something we should do, Emmerich has already supplied the other pumps, so there is an advantage to having one representative for all the pump systems. So in this case, we believe, based on the recommendations of our professional consultant and project manager and the other one, water treatment plant, chief water treatment plant operator, that we should go with the Emmerich bid. I've spoken to our treasurer about the process for that, although it's a higher bid. And is there a term for it, better value?
Best value.
Best value, okay. We think this represents the best value for the village in terms of the service and what we need right now. So I would, to start the discussion, let's just have it. You guys have heard, you've seen the bids. What are your thoughts on this?
What's the input from the project manager?
Ms. Pelkey?
The pumps from Emmerich, what I like about them is you'll be able to turn them up and down. For the diaphragm pumps now, it's usually like your range of pumping isn't as wide as what the Emmerich pumps are. And when we buy these pumps, it's going to be a one-time buy. We don't want to buy something and then find out that they're too large or too small for what we can do for our application. So with the Emmerich pumps, the pumps that are supplied by Emmerich, we feel that the range can go from a low flow to a higher flow rather than the diaphragm pumps. That was my thought about it.
That pretty much
Makes sense.
mirrors what
And I think you're better off to stick with one company also. You're not, I mean, if you can have a problem with them, I mean, you're not calling numerous companies.
yeah, that's one thing.
Emmerich is local, I mean, within New York, so they're pretty much, they've been really good to work with
Yeah.
on this project.
I think that the top thing is the flexibility that their pumps offer, because we really don't know what our needs are gonna be. And, with, like Mr. Pelkey said, with a diaphragm pump, we have a very limited range of turning it up or turning it down, where it's much larger with the CPAC pump. So that's where we believe we'd like to go. So I would entertain a motion to accept the bid from Emmerich for $23,451.
I'll second that.
Right, anyone?
Or,
I'll make a
a
motion.
motion.
You made the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we'll go ahead with that one. All right, just a few more things. We have two resolutions that we have to get in regarding the upcoming elections. I'm sure you have both of them in your packet. First one, election resolution 2018-01, voter registration date. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Trustees in the Village of Rouses Point, Clinton County, New York, has on the second day of January passed a resolution to not hold a voter registration for the 2018 election. The copy of the complete resolution is as follows. Wait a minute, did I read that wrong?
Yeah.
Not
Now,
hold.
hold.
Those are what you voted on last year.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Whereas the general election of officers for office will be held on the 20th of March, and whereas due to the lack of activity at past registration days, the village officials decided to not hold a registration day for the general election. The resolution will take effect immediately. The question of the foregoing was duly put to vote in the roll call, which resulted. So I need a motion to accept this resolution. We will not have a specific registration date.
So moved.
Second?
Further discussion? And again, we're doing this because when we dedicate one day, it ties up some person, costs money, and we don't ever have anybody. Whereas people can come in and register anytime they want. So it doesn't have to be on one day. Okay. So trustee Baffin,
Aye.
trustee Arnold,
Aye.
trustee Dart,
Aye.
trustee Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Thank you. The second election resolution lists the polling place. Whereas the next village election for officers of the Village of Rouses Point will be held on Tuesday, March 20th, 2018. Whereas the Board of Trustees of said village must designate by resolution the polling place and hours which polls shall be open for section 15104-3B of the State of New York election law. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point has determined the polling place shall be at Homestead Hall located at 39 Lake Street, Rouses Point, New York, with the polls being open from 12 noon to 9 p.m. And be it further resolved that as required by section 15104-3B of the state election law, notice of said village polling place and time the polls will be open be given at least 60 days prior to said election date. This resolution will take effect immediately, subject to this foregoing roll call. So I'd like a motion designating, accepting this resolution designating 39 Lake Street as the polling place.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, trustee Batha,
Aye.
trustee Arnold,
Aye.
trustee Dart,
Aye.
trustee Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Thank you. Okay. Couple short things here. Okay, I think some of you may have or may not, probably saw the memo from Tony Montefiore, our representative at MEAU and the New York Municipal Power Agency. He wrote a memo about spot high-density loads. Now, just wanted to clear this up. His first couple sentences does that many of our members' systems, our electrical system, we have 49 members in our, that have their own electric department, have been approached by or have discovered on their systems persons seeking to locate very high energy demand facilities in their service territories. These seem to be, for the most part, to be server farms or other intense energy use facilities employing large-scale data processing equipment, presumably for cryptocurrency mining purposes. On the one hand, these could be viewed as classic spot loads, but they pose unique system challenges both in their sheer scale and their unpredictable and temporary nature. These are not traditional permanent customers, but are unusually temporary and transient. They, for example, do not tend to employ a substantial workforce and have very few barriers to relocation. NIPA has developed a plan to help our members navigate these situations. Some of you may or may not, we've been approached, we get either Mr. Pelkey, myself, the administrator, the clerk, we get emails, calls, people want to locate a server farm in our area. And the demand has been as high as they wanted, 20 megawatts. And as you know, our whole system is 33 megawatts. And we're using what now, 15, 16?
Cold weather, probably,
Around there?
yeah, probably 60.
So the thing we were looking at is, even if they said, you know, okay, we'll come in and give you this much money, they want the industrial rate for the power, and they want to use a lot of space in a building, and they'll put, as they said, all these data processing equipment in there, and keep it cool in the summer, and keep it warm in the winter, and employ 2 or 3 people, and then possibly pull out at any time. Secondly, and more importantly, that kind of a demand on our system would push us into supplemental power immediately. So there would be no waiting to see if we've reached it. Everybody's electric bill would go up all the time just to satisfy this kind of a temporary business. So, you know, they have an approach. It's rather lengthy, but basically, they're talking about, you know, if you did it, the customers would have to be responsible for all expenditures. They'd, the size of the loads, they couldn't get everything they wanted, we just can't give it to them, because if we did that, that would leave us no power. If we did 10 megawatts, it'd leave no power. Well, we couldn't even do that, it's above 80%. We'd leave no power for any new industry. So if you've heard about server farms, you've heard about, you know, companies that want to come in and invest in this, we feel it's best for we agree with NIPA, and we feel it's best for the village, all the residents, not to have an increase in the electric, because we'd all be in supplemental all the time. And we don't, and there's no jobs associated with this, so the jobs or power ratio doesn't come up, so we're not gonna be able to get more power. And the lines that are coming to us now, to our substation, are pretty much maxed out, aren't they?
Well, we need to leave,
To put us up to 53 megawatts.
oh, yeah,
We
well,
don't
the substation's only so big.
Right, we can't, we're all those guys.
We don't wanna exceed, because if you're, you know, you still have the power that Pfizer used to use, and if you wanna go back to manufacturing, you don't wanna close the door on that.
More like 5 to 6 megawatts, right?
What's that?
Pfizer,
Pfizer, they've used up to 12, 15 before.
that was when they were going.
Yeah, when
full.
they were going.
Yeah. So, again, if we're gonna, you know, go along with the idea to use this area as, to build new, or have businesses build, you know, new warehouses, new production facilities, they need power to do that. If we box it up in one warehouse somewhere with 2 jobs, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So, I could send you guys this memo if you didn't get it. Did you get it or?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you guys, basically, do you agree with this philosophy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, we just want to,
You know, I think there's one of those in Plattsburgh I found out today, the old Imperial wallpaper plant, one of them stuck in down there.
Plattsburgh, as you were saying, has more flexibility than different voltages, right?
They're pretty much at capacity
Right.
with these
Now
server, now they are.
Yeah.
That's why they're looking to come north.
You know, they had an inexpensive power source there, but, you know, Plattsburgh the city is pretty maxed out as far as open space. Imperial paper plant, wallpaper plant was the only one. So, you know, when you go in and query inexpensive electric rates on Google, you're gonna see Rouses point pop up. And, you know, that's how we've been kind of targeting, so.
It's like zebra mussels coming north.
All right, all good, that's good, there's a consensus on that. And have you talked to Mr. Dillon about going to check on the road?
No, that's it.
Okay, he's gonna be working on Fourth and Fifth, 7th Street, so. Why don't we get together and you can decide when you can make it, we'll fit into your schedule and his.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I have. Okay, trustee Arnold, you have anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the electric department and Mr. Balky for a job well done over the weekend with the power outages and stuff. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Dart. Trustee Dart.
Nothing for the scene.
Trustee Bashford.
I just, on behalf of the village board, would like to thank the streets crew for the really good job they did on Christmas, keeping the streets clean. That all was running on Christmas Day. And I think they did a really good job, and they didn't have to do that. I mean, you know, a lot of them wanted to probably stay home with their families, but they were out there keeping the roads and the sidewalks.
Yeah, streets
Really-
and sidewalks.
Yeah, they did a really good job over the holidays.
Yeah, we've had a number of water issues as well, electrical issues come up. Last night, tonight, another one. We're out there fixing them, they get them done, so we're fortunate to have the services that we have. Okay, Madam Clerk, do you have anything else for us?
The only thing I have this evening is to let people know that nominating petitions are available now at the village office for the March election.
Okay, nominating position available to pick up at the village office if you want to run for one of the open positions, 2 trustees and the mayor.
That's all.
Mr. Administrator, you got anything?
None at this time.
Okay, Mr. Treasurer? Mr. Pelkey, you have anything else?
Okay, I just want to talk about the power outages this weekend. I want to give a reason why they happened. Because of the cold weather, there's heavy loads on these feeders. There's multiple feeders that come out of our substation. And what happened is our equipment in our substation is set for a safety factor for people that are working out in the lines. And if there's called a line imbalance, it'll trip out. Because of the loads were so much, that's why you seen the lights go off, come back on, go off. We couldn't control the equipment, so we kind of bumped the settings up to get us through. Well, that's the reason why it happened. And we're looking at, I had the crews out today doing some amp readings. You'll see them out, taking some readings here and there. We're going to try to balance the load out on some of these feeders a little bit better so we don't have these problems.
Yeah. Didn't you mention that when you had to go up, like from a cold start after the power had been off, you tried to do everybody at once, and it just shut up and shut off again?
Yes.
So you went piece by piece, that's why it took longer to get to some houses.
Yeah, we have to sectionalize to bring them in. We can't bring everybody in at one time. The equipment just can't take
Right.
it.
So I wanted people to know that, you know,
Yes.
it wasn't that you guys just said, well, we're gonna go warm up. That wasn't the case, you just had to take
No.
care of one, let it
That's-
get up to speed, then go to the next one, build it up gradually, because you tried to do it all at once.
Because on these feeders, like we were talking, the load these feeders were designed to go in separate areas, like the downtown feeder, the north feeder, the center feeder. They're designed for the loads, and when people add more loads, that's where we get these
Without telling
these
anybody.
imbalances, it's called.
Yeah.
So they have to be within a certain balance for this equipment. This equipment monitors how much power is being used on each feeder. And if it sees a little bump in the road, it thinks there's a problem. So we had to take this little bump in the road and we had to increase it a little bit, so we should be fine now. There's still a little bit of work to do, but I just want to let the people know why the power went on and off and what the problem was.
Right. Well, I don't think it's gonna get much colder. 20 below is,
No, I think we maxed it and I think we've
Survived.
We survived and we are going to survive.
we appreciate you guys being out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good job.
Thank you very much.
There's about a foot of frost right now on the ground, so if anyone wants to know. We dug today and for a water line and there was 12 inches of frost in the grass on somebody's lawn.
Starting to get down there.
It's starting to go
Gonna
down,
get to
so
4 feet eventually.
hope not.
At these temperatures, it's going to. Mr. Cooper, do you have any comments?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then I will like a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, thank you.
Sorry, here, I'm sorry.